Okay, hey guys, Craig here with geektech.ie, back with another video, and today we're taking a quick overview and first look at the Rampage V Extreme motherboard. This is on the X99 chipset from Intel and supports their new Haswell Extreme processors. So this is the box, this is the retail box, so this is exactly what you will get if you buy the motherboard. So we're going to take a quick look around the box, and then we're going to take it out, look at the accessories, and then we're going to move on to the motherboard itself, and we're going to talk about the features that has. As you can see straight off the bat, you can see it does come with the OC panel bundled as well, with the bay adapter. So we're going to flick this open here. We're just going to show you this little panel here with the information that it includes. I will try and zoom in and focus it properly so you can see it. So what you can do there is, if you want to read all this information, you can just pause the video and you can take a quick gander, but we will be doing a quick overview of the board itself and all the information and stuff like that I'll be running through. So this is just a quick thing if you want to see anything that's printed on the box, any specific features. Now we'll just move over to the actual board box here. As you can see, there's the OC panel, there's the clear plastic, just so you can actually see the board, just like always. Flick this over. Again, same deal here, just go ahead and pause that if you want to read the information. I will zoom in on a few errors here. I'll read off a few here. CPU Intel Core i7 LGA 2011 V3 socket, supports 22nm CPUs. Intel X99 Express chipset, 8 DIMM slots with max 64GB DDR4. That will be 128GB once the 16GB DDR4 memory comes available. It supports 3300, 3000, 2800, 2666, 2400 and 2133 megahertz. 2400 and above is considered an overclock, with the SDP for the RAM is 2133. Quad channel support, and it supports XMP. Expansion slots, you have 4 PCI Express 3 X8 X16 slots, 1 PCI Express 2.0 X16 slot, max X4 mode, and 1 XPCI 2.0 X1 slot. Multi GPU support, we will get into that later because it's different with the depending on what CPU you use. Storage, you have 12 SATA 6GB ports, 1 M2 socket 3 with M key, and it uses PCI Express lane for that in, but again we'll get onto that once we get to the board. USB ports, there's 14 USB 3.0 ports, 4 on the board itself, 6 USB 2.0, 4 ports on the mid board as well. LAN, wireless, AC, which is 3x3 aerials, and it supports 2.4 and 5 gigahertz up to 1300 megabits per second. Bluetooth 4.0, and it has Audio Supreme FX 2014 18 channel high definition audio codec, but we will go into that more in depth in a while. But again, we'll just give you a quick look at the board at the back of the box there, and you can see it all, and you can pause it if you need to. There's the back IO board, the back of the yoke. You have the ROG Connect, the clear CMOS, PS2 connector, 2 USB 2.0, the 10 USB 3.0, the Intel Gigabit LAN, the 3 wireless connectors, and the audio. So, but we will get into that more when we get a look at the actual box. But first, let's take a look at the accessories. Okay, now we're taking a look at the accessories that come with the Rampage V Extreme, and this is the box comes in. And again, with Asus products, typically they always include a lot of cool accessories. So let's just take a look at everything that comes with. Quick little doorknob handle thingy that you can put on it. You can see put over there. Straight, okay, we're going to start with the bottom right here. We have NVIDIA SLI adapters. You have 3-way and quad SLI adapters there, and you get 2 bridges for Crossfire support if you're using a card that still uses them, otherwise it'll go through the motherboard itself. Here we have the IO shield for the back of the motherboard. You can see that is the cable for the OC panel, which we'll get out now in a minute, and we'll take a look at that just after the accessories. Here we have the recommended reading literature and CDs, warranty information, blah blah blah, and a few stickers just for identifying cable, which I don't think anyone will use. And there is an Asus Republic of Gamers sticker in there as well, right there. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Hang on, one thing about this book, it is not in color like I think the previous Rampage 4 Extreme board was. It's just a black and white board, but again, it's pretty extensive, so it should cover everything you need to know. But if you're buying this type of board, I suspect you already know all your information anyway. A few of the front I/O stuff for the power switches and reset buttons and stuff. Okay, you got a bunch of SATA cables. Let's see how many we have here. 2, 4, 6, and 8, and 10, and I believe they are all 6 gig cables. I don't think there is any non-6 gig, as you normally can tell by the white tips on them. I think they're all right angle as well. I don't think there's any non-right angles, although it does actually look like 1 or 2 of them. Yeah, there's 1 right angle there, 1 right angle there, or sorry, yeah, 1 normal. Okay, they all include, okay, so that looks like it's 5 right angle and 5 normal in all of these. So there you go. Okay, and here is the back plate. Now this is a replacement back plate that you can use instead of the standard 2011-3 socket. Basically it just means that if you want to use an LN2 pot or a dry ice pot, you can use this instead, and you can just get rid of the standard screws that they have, and you can just throw in anything you want to use. That's obviously for the people that want to go for the world records and stuff like that. Want to do the benchmarks. That is the wireless antenna. It's 3x3. I think that's, I don't know if that covers the Bluetooth as well, but I think the Bluetooth is actually internal. But yeah, that's just a 3x3 antenna. Actually, what I will do here is I'll open this up just to show it to you better. See, the 3 cables go straight into the board, and this thing's pretty cool because you can rotate it and leave it on the desk like so, or you can flick it around and you can have a flat. I don't know if it's magnetic or anything like that, if it sticks to the side of your case, but it's pretty handy. It's a nice looking antenna. It's very small and sleek, so it won't use up too much of your desk space or anything like that. That's a few connectors for, I think, temperature sensing directly on the board itself. I think anyway, yeah, I think that's what they are. I will find out, and they will be in the full review. And here we have the OC panel converter. This is if you want to throw the OC panel, which we'll talk about now in a second, into a 5 1/4 inch bay and have it just sitting there and displaying your standard readouts. But we'll talk about the OC panel now next, and once we get all this stuff off the desk. But that's pretty much all the accessories it comes with. Again, we'll be listing them all off in the full review, and you can check out everything with pictures, high-res pictures of each one, and we'll give kind of an in-depth of anything that's specific, and make sure you check out the full review. So we'll move on to the OC panel, and then we'll move on to the board itself. Okay, now we're taking a look at the OC panel that's included with the Rampage 5 Extreme. Now this was actually, sorry, I hit the camera. This is actually included with the Rampage 4 Extreme Black Edition, I believe, and I'm not sure if it's included with other boards. But basically it's just a quick breakout panel that allows for, I guess, there's 2 types of uses that this thing has. One is normal mode, which is just pretty much a monitor device where you flick this up forward and then you slot it into this case and you throw it into the front of your case. And that basically just means that this little panel here has a few little buttons on it, which I'll zoom in and show you. Let me just zoom. Okay, so here you have the front panel, and you can see you've got 4 buttons. So if you're using a normal mode, you've power, fan control, 1-click CPU, and then you've got I think it's hang on, let me just check. Normal extreme mode switch. Sorry, yeah, I just have to check it there. What that one was for, which one was which. So yeah, you can see the 4 buttons there, and it's just pretty much a static display, and it displays. I'll throw up a quick image there, as you can see, with it displaying information. You've got stuff like base clocks, ratios, fan speed control, fan RPMs, and CPU temperatures that will display right here. But now that's where the rest of this stuff comes into play, is if you're using an extreme mode. So I'm just gonna kind of hold it there so you can see it. Not sure if that's bright enough, but I hope it is. There's tons of things on this, like VGA hot wire, 4x4 pin fan controllers, VGA SMB controllers. Basically, you get full access to the BIOS for overclocking, tweaking, and it's pretty much for the people who are going to be going full on with benchmarks and world records and stuff. So most people probably won't be using this portion of it, and they'll probably just slot the whole device into the front of the case if they want to use it as a fan controller. Quick little display, it might look nice. If not, they're probably not going to use it, because the thing about this is that it uses a cable that connects directly to I'm not sure if you can see that. This one here on the left connects directly to the motherboard, and this is a SATA power, which means if you want this to be outside your desk, on your desk, you'd have to run a SATA power directly outside. So benchmarkers and stuff, and overclockers and serious tweakers, they would have, they'd probably just be running on a test bench, so it wouldn't be a big deal for them. But otherwise, it will look semi-decent if you slot it in. Show that there. As you can see, pull that through, goes like that. Zoom in just so you can see it. I hope you can see it again, but again, you can check out the full images of what it looks like inside the case on the full review. But that's pretty much the OC panel. Again, it's kind of an addition that extreme overclockers will get more advantage out of it. Most of the people will just use it as a quick display tool, or they'll just ignore it and they'll just have it to the side. But that's the OC panel. Now we're going to move on and take a look at the board and its features that it has. Okay, now we're taking a quick look and overview of the Rampage V Extreme motherboard itself. There was a lot of stuff to cover in this, so if I miss anything, don't worry, it'll be in the full review on geektech.ie itself. But we're going to take a quick run around the board and all the features it has, and pretty much anything that you may be wondering about it off the start. Okay, so we're going to start just at a development, because this is going to be the hardest part to show off the I/O board, as you can see here. Now I will try and focus this. So you should be able to see that okay. And here you can see all the different things that it has. You have the ROG connect button, and I believe that's a clear CMOS button if it's the same as before. PS2 connector with 2 USB ports. I'm not sure which one's the dedicated one, but one of these is associated with the keybot button, which we'll talk about when we get around to it on the board. You have 8 USB 3.0 ports here, 2 USB 3.0 ports there, and a gigabit Intel LAN with LAN guards. So it includes software for prioritizing different things, or games, or Skype, or something like that, for the best I guess speed and stuff. And then you have your 3x3 Wi-Fi connectors, which is AC 5 GHz support for up to 1300 megabits per second. And then you have your Supreme FX sound right here with optical SPDIF out, and we'll talk about what this supports and stuff when we get around to it on the board. But that's pretty much the back I/O panel right there, as you can see. So if you just want to get a better look at that, there will be images on it. You can see it there. Okay, so now let's move around to the other side. Again, just getting these parts out of the way, because these are going to be the hardest to show. And here you can see all the SATA port connectors that it has. As you can see, 2, 4, 6, 8 normal SATA 6 gigs that are standard, and you've got another 4 SATA 6 gigs, but these are part of the SATA Express. So if you want to use SATA Express, obviously you're not going to be using the SATA connectors that are with it. So you'll always have 8 SATA 6 gigabyte connectors and 2 plus SATA Express connectors, or you'll have 10 SATA Express connectors as standard, as you can see there. Right, and that's pretty much the main connectors, but let's take a closer look at different sections of the board. We will start with the PCI connectors here. I'm just going to move that up so you can see it better. Okay, so now the PCI lanes, what configurations these support depends on the type of CPU you get. If you get a 5930K or 5960X, you'll have 40 PCI lanes to play around with. If you get a 5820K, you will only have 28 PCI lanes. So with 40 PCI lanes, you will have different support. This will always run an X16 if you're running one card. If you're running 2 cards, you have X16 here and X16 here. If you're running 3 cards, you'll have X16, X8 and X16. You'll have X16, X8, X8 if you run 3 cards. If you run 4 cards, you'll have X16, X8, X8, X8. That's with a 40 lane CPU, so the 4930K or the the 5930K or the 5960X. If you are running the 5820K, which is a 28 lane CPU, you will not have quad SLI or quad crossfire. So you'll only have these 3 support if you're using all 3 of them, which you'll either have X16 with one card, X16, X8 with two, or X8, X8, and X8 with three cards. So I hope that's explained, but again, I'll explain it better in the full on review, so you understand it better. I'm just looking at more information here just so I have it down. Yeah, and then you also have a PCI 2 slot and a PCI X1 slot. Now I'm not sure if the M2 slot over here disables one of these. I'm not sure if that was on the Asus Deluxe, but again, I'll cover that in the full review just so you have the proper information. But now we're going to move down to the bottom right corner. Okay, I just repositioned the camera here and got it closer just so you can get a better look at what I'm showing you here. This is the bottom right corner of the motherboard and has a lot of stuff going on here. And to be honest with you, I'm not going to be able to cover it all in this video, but I will cover it all in the full review. But down here you can see the the power switches and the reset buttons, the ROG extension, that's for the OC panel. You have a standard USB 2.0 connection header, and you have a USB 3.0. Right here at the bottom left, you can see the two BIOS connectors. Basically what Asus did here was that they did not solder these on, so if something went catastrophically wrong and they were both dead or one of them died, you want to replace it, they can send you a replacement one of these, and you can pull that one out and pop a new one in should you need to. But again, it's a standard thing here because you can see the BIOS switch button again, so you can switch. You can have separate versions of the UEFI, and I mean you can BIOS flash them with the USB and stuff. So it's, I mean, it's an extreme case that one of them, that the two of them fail, but just in case they didn't solder them on for that exact reason. There's a lot of other connectors here for different sensory input, but there's a lot of chassis fans that this thing includes. I will throw up the image of the all the fans that it supports. I'm just looking for the image now so I can point them out. Okay, you can see there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, sorry, 7 fan headers on it. I believe, yeah, 2 of them are down here. Chassis fan. I will lift this up here and I will bring it over to here. There is another one right there. They're all PMW fan headers as well, because Asus have included a kind of a cool kind of software package that allows you to control the fan curves, and you can set them up differently if you're doing different tasks. There is another 3 up here, 1, 2, 3. Obviously one is for the CPU fan, and then you've got a CPU optional fan right there. Boom. Where's the other one? There's 2 right here as well, sorry. As you can see there. Again though, that's all the fan headers that this board has, but again, you can throw in a fan splitter, PWM splitter, and you could say run 3 or 4 fans or 2 fans or whatever off a single fan header, and they can all be running the same setup, I guess. So if you had 3 intake fans that were all the same, they can all be running the same speed, and they can be controlled the exact same way. Where else? Okay, down the bottom left here we have the Supreme FX 2014 audio. This is the first for a Rampage Extreme board to include actual decent audio out of the box, unlike the Rampage IV Extreme, which had pretty much standard audio, which was kind of negated the whole, you know, Republic of Gamers and the Top Gear and stuff like that. So you can see the Supreme FX stuff. I'm just going to bring up all the info on it. If I need to, I can superimpose images or just throw the images up in front of it so you can see what it is I'm talking about. Hang on. I'm just looking for the info here because they have a lot of info on this board, and I just want to make sure I cover as much as I can about it. Yeah, Supreme FX 2014, 8 channel gold plated output with Sonic Sense amp, so it amplifies your headphones should you connect them. Obviously you'd want to get a decent pair just for the obviously getting the extra quality. Soundstage hardware level audio profile switch, so you can have the different audio profiles depending on what you're doing, including gaming. And it has ELNA capacitors that are, you know, obviously top of the line. Again, that's kind of what the Asus are going for with the entire board, is top of the line stuff. But they also have perfect voice, which is simple an effective noise reduction. So if you're on chat and stuff, the microphone, the ambient noise can get reduced. And they have yeah, that's pretty much the sound. Again, though, we'll cover everything. This is just a quick overview of what it's got. But again, it's nice that they've included some decent audio. So if you don't have a separate audio card, you have somewhat of decent audio there to play around with. And okay, now we're just gonna spin this around, and we're gonna look at the kind of onboard overclocking panel, if you want to call it that. And there's a lot of different stuff that this has. So just give me a sec here. Just want to make sure I don't forget anything. But anyhow, you have your 24-pin connector here. You have your dip switches here if you want to shut off PCI lanes, but that's really for the extreme overclockers, I guess. Power button and reset button, and they've added a kind of I don't know, other boards have probably had it, but they've actually added one thing, which is the safe boot, which is that little red button right there. And they also have a retry button. Now what the retry button does basically means if your computer doesn't post, you can click that button and it'll pretty much just retry those settings rather than having to disconnect your PSU. They normally had it as a standard that you could hold the power button for 5 seconds, which I've done in the past, and that would do the same thing, but a lot of people didn't know better. And if you have it on a test bench, or if you have it on a table or something, any reason you don't have power connectors connected and you're just using these on ones, that's a quick button just in case you want to retry it with the same settings and just continue. The safe boot button is a little different. Now there's I'm not sure if it does a complete stock boot. So basically, if you're overclocking and you try a bunch of settings and it fails, basically what this button will do is you can hit that button, it'll boot up into safe settings. Now I'm not sure if it's stock settings or if it is the previously last known settings that have worked, in the sense that it'll go back. So say if you were at like 4.5 gigahertz and you pushed to 4.7 and it failed, it'll go back to the 4.5 gigahertz because it know that worked, and basically it won't wipe any of your BIOS settings. So if you're messing around with things and you're tweaking different things and it doesn't work out and it fails and you have to reset all the BIOS, you don't have to anymore. You just click that button, it'll boot up in stock settings, but it'll retain all the settings that you were just playing around with, so you can tweak them a little bit more to get it to post. You also have your error code debug LED right here as well. So that's pretty much that area. You have your M2 slot. Now this is a pretty long one because it goes down all the way to 2210. I think that's 110 mil. But again, now I'm not sure if this actually will use up one of your PCI slots if you do use it. But we've seen M2 slots popping up now on more boards. So it'd be nice to see an actual M2 slot this long, because there's a lot of them showing up with 500 gig to a terabyte support and stuff, and the bandwidth is 32 gigabytes. So it's much faster than what you would get from a standard SATA or even SATA Express, because it uses PCI lanes straight off the bat. But that's pretty much the overclocking panel here. Again, we'll cover everything we can in the full review. And down here, sorry, I'm not gonna reposition the camera. I'm just gonna pull it in. I'll zoom out a little bit just so you can see this better. Okay, so here we have the socket. Now this socket is actually different than the standard Intel 2011 V3 socket that's going to be on other boards. What Asus did was there was extra pins, I guess, on the socket that weren't on the standard socket that Intel showed everyone. And Asus went back, they reverse engineered it, and they found out what those pins did, like extra power stability and stuff. We don't know what they're going to be in the future, if they're going to be re-added with another upgrade or something, but the pins are on the CPUs themselves. So with the added extra pins and usage, Asus basically get better overclocking, better power stability. We're not sure why Intel disabled them, and we're not sure if Intel are, you know, I don't know if it'll affect warranty statuses with overclocking and stuff, but typically Intel don't cover warranty if you overclock it and you fry your CPU. They do have their performance tuning extra warranty that you can buy, and it might affect that with the extra pins, because it's literally only Asus boards that have these extra pins. No other board from MSI, Gigabyte, ASRock or EVGA will have them, just Asus. So it'll be interesting to find out what kind of advantages they add over standard boards, and if they do in fact provide extra overclocking ability. As you can see here, I will throw up a better image just so you can see it, but right under here you have all the DigiPlus power phases and the VRMs. Now a little difference here with this is that Asus put a direct contact heatsink with a heat pipe running around. So this giant heatsink that you can see here isn't just for show. It actually has a heat pipe running all the way that has direct contact right on top of the VRMs to keep them cold, because obviously these will get the hottest, especially if you're overclocking. These will get extremely hot. So what they did was they threw on a copper pipe straight on the top of the VRMs, and the heat will go from here straight all the way around, and it'll keep them nice and cold. Especially with people using water blocks, there's not going to be a lot of airflow around this area. That's definitely a plus, and hope it'll help with overclocking stability as such. Again, that's pretty much all the aspects of the board. You can see all of the DIMM slots here. If I've missed anything that I haven't gone over, I will go over it in the full review that you can check out. But again, this is just a quick overview about the features and a quick look at the board itself. You can see it there, full on board. They do include, as I showed at the accessories, the backplate that you can swap out, and you don't have to use the 2011 standard. That's if you're going full on LN2 cooling or dry ice or anything like that, and you don't want to be using this. You want to actually plop in an actual pot. You can remove this backplate, remove all these screws, have a completely separate one there with just holes that you can put anything into. Which again is for the extreme overclockers and the people that will be taking advantage of everything this board has to offer. A lot of people, though, with the Republic of Gamers branding that it has, are just going to be going full on with gaming, a little bit of overclocking here and there. The board doesn't support Asus's new 5-way optimization, but apparently it might in the future. They haven't exactly finalized it or anything, but again, this type of board is expected for people who really want to get into the gritty overclocking themselves and find out what exactly they can get out of their RAM, their CPUs and their graphics cards. So that's pretty much the board there. You can check out the full review on geektech.ie when it's posted, and we'll hopefully have more reviews for you and more motherboards for X99 in the future. And we hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.